Hello again, this is Melissa Ndiveni again with Arise and Shine, the founder, Dr. Vusi Mema, joining us for a very important conversation. We're going to be speaking about the colon today. I don't know much about it myself, so he's going to answer all our questions that we have. Thank you so much, Dr. Vusi, for taking the opportunity to talk to us about a lot of very uncomfortable questions that are posed here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about the colon. What is the colon? Why is the colon important?
Actually, the colon is more like your storage system. Things go in and they must go out.
Hectic stuff.
They must go in and they must come out, and they move through the colon. So if there's anything that you must take care of is your colon, because if you are talking about anything that affects your system, it is because it has passed through your colon. That is everything. So your colon is all the way from your mouth, all the way through your rectum. That is what we call a colon, basically.
Okay.
So everything basically that you are, it starts from there.
So everything that we ingest, everything that we put in our mouths and goes down the esophagus and whatever, those nutrients, the colon takes them, or what does it take from the food that we eat?
Yes, remember, whatever you are eating, how you benefit from it is how best your colon functions. Because if you are talking about nutrients, you are talking about carbohydrates, you are talking amino acids, you are talking about fatty acids. You can only benefit from them if your colon is optimally functioning to absorb them to the blood. So your blood is depending on the colon to be able to absorb nutrients. So the colon is more like the master of how you benefit from what you eat.
Does the colon take any nutrients with it, or does it only take what is not healthy and not needed by the body?
When you eat, what happens is that the colon breaks down the food that you are eating. It breaks it down. Of course, it is divided into certain compartments, starting from the mouth, down the esophagus, through the stomach, the duodenum, ileum, and all that, through the small intestine, and then the large intestine, and out to the rectum. So every compartment or every section of the colon has a particular function to perform. So what the colon does when the food, for example, lands in the mouth, what happens is that the colon will start breaking down the carbohydrates. You've got certain enzymes that are produced by the colon that are assisting to break down the carbohydrates for you to benefit and be able to absorb them. And then when it goes down to the stomach, then the proteins are broken down. Then from the proteins, they go down, then the carbohydrates are going to develop the fats and all that. So you benefit. So the colon then, when it reaches the small intestine, then that's where all these things are absorbed to the blood. They are absorbed to the blood. And then the rest of the body begins to benefit from all that process. So the colon that we're talking about is actually the one that determines what goes to the body and what does not go to the body. So everything is saying, please bring me this, please bring me this, I want this, I want that. The heart says, I want calcium, I want this, I want that. Then the colon is the one that is going to say, okay, I'm bringing it, and it's breaking down your nutrients, and then it absorbs, and then it sends to the heart, it sends to the lungs, it sends to the liver, it sends everywhere.
Okay.
So the colon is like the engine, the mastermind, the transport system, the one everything lands and is distributed. It's more like your warehouse. Then it says, okay, now you go there, you go there, you go there, and then the blood becomes the transport for all those nutrients.
Interesting one.
Yes.
Okay, it's December, and December is about food.
Yes.
People enjoy partying, people enjoy having nice time and eating everything. If you were eating healthy throughout the year, you feel like it's time to give yourself a break. Because now it's December.
Yes.
So is this a period when we put a lot of strain on our colon because we feel like, I have the right to kind of like break the rules and eat whatever dessert I want, whatever sugars I want, whatever, if I want to go out and eat from all those franchise foods that I've been denying myself throughout the year. Am I putting pressure on my colon by so doing, and also on the rest of the body? Because like we were saying, it says, I need this, I need these nutrients, I need this, and the colon can't get those nutrients because what I'm feeding myself maybe does not have those nutrients.
Yeah, remember, the colon does not have holidays. It does not have December holiday. It does not have festive system. It does not. The colon is working consistently and constantly, and it wants what it wants. It does not say, okay, now, okay, let me relax. I'm also on a holiday. Let me relax and make sure that, okay, the people can take their time. The colon wants what it wants. So it does not have December holiday. And unfortunately, this is also one of the times when people, when they emerge on the other side of the holiday, they emerge with lots of diseases. They emerge with lots of problems.
Okay, what if now?
Yes.
I want to enjoy my food and, you know, not be too strict, Dr. V. But there are things that I don't do. I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'm not going to eat like meat every day.
Yeah.
Surely I'm trying to think for the colon as well. Isn't that better than those who drink and smoke and just ingest all types of foods?
The colon responds to what you gave it. You, for example, you may say, okay, I'm not going to do this. Maybe it may respond better to you.
Okay.
It may respond worse to someone else. So it responds to what you gave it. So what you are giving it. And also the other thing that we need to understand is that we don't react in the same manner. Some people are more resistant and some people are more susceptible. So you may find that in your case, when you indulge in certain things, you react quite fast than someone else who is indulging in the very same thing. So you need to understand your body, understand your colon, understand how you respond to all these things. But colon is unforgiving.
One day you will bear the brunt of the decisions you're making today.
Yes.
That's what I get you say. Okay, let's get into like those uncomfortable questions, but I think they are important. If the colon is the one that eventually deals with the waste in the body, right? Let's start with farting.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it good to fart? Is there something called a healthy fart? What must the smell of a healthy fart be like?
Let me tell you. The fact that you are farting, it says there is some kind of reaction that is taking place.
Is it like sneezing? Is it like
yeah, exactly. There's some kind of, it's either it's fermentation or it's digestion. It can be anything that is happening. Most farts, according to my experience, they are because of fermentation, fermented foods that sit in your body.
So that is not healthy.
And those ones, you can easily identify them. When somebody has done it, everybody gets out of the house or gets out of the room. Then you know this was fermentation in the colon.
Okay.
There are people that can just release their fat and you won't even feel anything. You won't even know.
Is that the healthy one?
Then that could be your healthy one. Because remember, farting is another part of releasing waste material from the body.
Okay.
Because
so people who don't fart, that's not normal. Like if someone says, I've never heard my girlfriend fart ever, that's not healthy.
It comes with what you eat. It comes with what you eat. Carbohydrates will be broken down. And some people, I always say to my daughter, you know what? Sometimes when you do this, if I can take a matches and just whoosh, it's going to boom. It's going to go boom. Because you're actually farting methane gas. You are farting methane gas, and that is very problematic. That is very problematic.
Okay, so what I hear you say is, I just want to make sure we get it right.
Yes.
Tell me, did you hear this? I think the doctor is saying that fart is normal, but it depends on the smell of the fart. If it's got a strong smell, you must know that the body is not okay. There's fermentation there.
Yes.
You know it's not good.
Yes.
But there's a normal one that can happen silently or not so silently, but it doesn't smell, and that's okay.
Yes. Let me say that farting. What I'm saying is that farting, it is a normal way of the body releasing toxins out of itself, because that gas is a toxic gas, so it must come out. It's like when you're burping. When the body burps, it's releasing toxic gas from its system. So farting is the same, but now depending on the extent of the toxins in your colon, then you can actually determine that this one has got this kind of problem and this one has got a better kind of a problem. But it is normal. The body must do it. So if you have to fart,
keep it in.
Don't hold gas, because it's going to be very dangerous to your system. It's a waste material. That's why the body wants to kick it out of its system.
Right. Okay. We cannot conclude this conversation, speak about the colon, without speaking about stool. That is the other, I think, maybe uncomfortable one. Let me touch on it. What is healthy stool supposed to look like? Human.
There are many colors of the stool, and there are many textures of the stool. But healthy stool must have shape. In the first place, it must have shape, and the shape must be a sausage shape. It must be a sausage shape. It must not be too light. It must not be too dark. Because when it's too dark, it may mean that you've got some ulcers, you've got some bleeding in your colon and all that. When it is too light, it may mean that your liver has got issues. It's not functioning properly. But if it's just brownish color, then you have some hope. Secondly, it must not float when you are sitting in the system, or when you're sitting in the toilet bowl. It must not, it must sink. When it's float, it means there's a lot of fat that has not been digested properly. Therefore, that's why it looks light. It must be dense and sink. And then thirdly, it must not be lumpy. It must not have lumps, or it must not be having balls like a goat or like a sheep. When that comes out, when that shows, it shows that you are constipated. And thirdly, it must not be watery, because that is diarrhea. And it must not be too loose as well. That could also mean that you have got some diarrhea in your system. So it must be firm, brownish in color, sink in the water, and then you can be happy to go. Also, after helping yourself, you must feel that indeed the system has emptied and you are lighter.
And how often should the bowel release in a day?
Recommended 2 to 3 times a day.
Does that mean you would have eaten 2 to 3 times a day?
Not really. But remember, it starts releasing from yesterday's, then it releases. So every meal that you eat, it has to come out in a certain period of time.
So if you go only once a day, that is not good.
That is not good.
And you are maybe eating 3 times a day.
That is not good.
Okay.
So it must release at least 2 to 3 times a day. 3 times a day, most recommended.
Right, thank you so much. I hope that will help you as you go and find out more information on how to look after your colon. Thank you so much, Dr. V.
Thank you, Millie. Thank you.